Am I Nordic? There are two answers to this question, and I will give you the first one as no, I am not Nordic. Being that I am not from Denmark, Sweden, or Norway. I've never been to Northern Europe, honestly. I've never been outside of the southern United States. I was born in the state of North Carolina, just a few minutes across the state line from where I grew up in northeastern Tennessee. So, the name, my Twitter handle, and the name of this channel, Southern Nordic, I chose this name because it's an oxymoron of sorts, I think. It's Southern because I live here in the southern United States, but I chose Nordic not because I live or have ever been to a Nordic country, but when I speak of Nordic, I'm talking about my phenotype, my family's appearance. Our ancestors, they came here to America from Denmark and England. And when I talk about my phenotype, I'm talking about my physical appearance. I have blue eyes. Well, I would consider them gray, I guess. Me and my father, we have the same color of eyes. All of us, I know right now, my hair is, I guess you could say, a dirty blonde, brownish blonde. But in my youth, I had very blonde hair, as did my brother, I've seen pictures of my dad when he was a young boy back in the early 1960s. He had blonde hair just like us. My mother, she also has blonde hair, but she has hazel greenish eyes. Also in our phenotype, I'm talking about our physical stature. Now I'm a manlet, honestly. I'm only about 5'9" or maybe 5'10" on a good day. But my father, he is 6 foot tall. My younger brother, he's 6'2". My mother, she is my height. The reason I believe that I ended up as a manlet is because my dad's dad, he was only 5'7". So yeah, I think, but my great-grandfather, my grandpa's father, he was a very tall man as well. It's like, it seems like on my dad's side of the family there that, we have a couple of generations of tall children, but then every once in a while there'll be a manlet arise, such as myself and my grandpa. So yeah, I'm not Nordic in the national sense, but I am Nordic in the biological sense. As I mentioned earlier, our ancestors on father and mother's side, they came from England and Denmark. If you go back further, I'm sure our ancestors were of the North Germanic tribes that inhabited Northern Europe. Another interesting thing, now I have never, let me add this, I have never taken a DNA test, and I probably never will, honestly. A DNA test is honestly one of the few things in life, in business, that I have seen that basically you, the person who sends in the DNA sample, you are the product, but you are paying to be the product, if you understand what I'm saying. Now I know you're honestly paying for your DNA test that they ship back to you, but if you read the fine print of any of those DNA companies, they will sell your DNA sample to third parties. I made a video, it was one of the first videos that I had ever made, was about the dangers, what I see as the dangers of DNA testing. And I'll leave a link to it in the box below. I noticed that I got into watching a lot of Chilean perspective videos. It's been over a year ago now. And in one of the videos, Varg states he was talking about the Nordic phenotype. Many Nordic people, people whose ancestry are of the North Germanic tribes, they are born with platinum blonde hair, but as they age, it darkens somewhat. I know that this is the case with my father, me, and my younger brother. When we were young, we had really blonde hair, and as we aged, it darkened some. What else was I going to say? Varg, he makes a point that he believes that the reason that many Nordic people's hair will darken a few shades as they age is because it was an advantage to being able to hunt in forests, because of course the Germanic man's native habitat is the forest, after all, the woods. And it's if you have platinum blonde hair and you're trying to hunt for something to eat in the forest, platinum blonde kind of sticks out a little bit, so it darkens as we age. Another interesting thing I learned from him is by reading this book. Now, about our pagan ancestors. Now, when I talk about the Germanic race's native habitat being the forest, I should say that honestly all the native European sub-races, ultimately our natural habitat is indeed the forest. All, whether you be Slavic, Baltic, Italic, whatever, Celtic, our native habitat is of course the forest. Now, in this book, I had never heard this before, but it makes sense because it kind of explains how my birth went when my mother was pregnant with me. In this book, he talks about that on average, the pregnancy of a Nordic woman, on average, now I know there's exceptions to this, but on average, the pregnancy of a Nordic woman will last at least 2 to 3 weeks longer than the pregnancies of other races, say Africans, East Asians. On average, the Nordic woman is pregnant up to 2 to sometimes 3 weeks later than the average of the African or East Asian races. This is very interesting. He also states in the book that the skull size of Nordic children when they are born is larger than the skull size of, on average of course, than the skull size of children born of other races. Now when my mother, when she was pregnant with me, I was a huge baby. I believe, honestly, that my due date was around Valentine's Day, just a few days after my mom, her birthday is February the 11th. And I believe my due date was just a few days, originally it was just a few days after her 18. She had me when she was 8, shortly after she turned 18. But I was not born, I was late. I was probably, I'm not sure how many days that translates to. It's over 2 weeks because my birthday was March the 2nd, excuse me, I about said 7th. March the 2nd, 1987. I weighed 9 pounds and 10 ounces. Now, I have some family pictures here that I will show you. If I can find this one, I will go ahead and show it right now. It is a picture of my mother holding me. And if I'm not mistaken, this picture was taken shortly after she brought me home from the hospital. Let's see. Here it is. As you can see here, there's my mom, and there's me. Look how big I am. It's a wonder I didn't kill my poor mother. She's just a little thing. She's about 5'8", 5'9", but she was just a little thin thing. And look how big I am. I'm huge. I was 9 pounds and 10 ounces. I about killed her. It's horrible. But my younger brother, he was also a big baby. He was, I believe, 8.5 pounds. He was in the higher portion of. He wasn't 9 pounds. He was well over 8 pounds. So yeah, my mother, glad she made it through the pregnancy. Honestly, I was a huge baby. So that's another, due to Varg's book there, that's another reason why we're Nordic, I believe. So now I have some other pictures of my family that I will show you. This, of course, is me. I guess I'm 2 years old or so. This is taken in front of our house. As you can see, I have blonde hair, blue eyes. I don't think you can really tell there. Picture of me and my father. He also had blonde hair like mine when he was younger. He also has the gray eyes that I have. They're basically the same color. Another picture of me and my father. This is in our front yard of our house, the house that I was raised in. Let's see. Here's my younger brother, Andy. As you can see, he had blonde hair, but he has really vivid light blue eyes. They're very, very striking. I was always kind of jealous of him in this way. He has the eye color that my grandpa, my dad's dad, they both had the same like electric blue eye color. There's my dad and younger brother at a Halloween party when I was a kid. Another picture of me, blonde hair, blue-eyed, Nordic, Germanic. Another one of me. Here's a picture of my mom and younger brother. This picture was taken probably, I guess, 15 years ago. As you can see, my mom, she is blonde-headed. This is taken in our backyard. My little brother smiling maniacally as he's playing with his Legos. Me again. Me again. Me and my little brother sitting on our front porch when we were kids. Me carrying my little brother around on my back while I'm trying to read a book for some reason. Me and my younger brother playing chess. We both have blonde hair. Our dad taught us how to play chess at a very young age. Grew up playing a lot of chess. Here's a picture of me, not me, but my younger brother and my mother on our front porch. My little brother, he really does take some awesome pictures sometimes. Unrelated picture, but some Canadian geese in the driveway in our front yard. And me and my younger brother swinging and filling up the swimming pool. And I have a few more pictures. This is unrelated, but this is the snow in our front yard one winter when we were kids. Tombstone of my family just up the road. These are 7 brothers and 7 sisters, and they were called the 7 Devils. There is a small town outside of Boone, North Carolina called 7 Devils, and it was named after this family. They were very ruthless. Their surname was Winters, but I'll save that for another video. Let's see here. This is a picture of Miranda, my wife. She is redheaded, and she has very hazelish green eyes, similar to the color of my mother's. This is her when she was a senior in high school. Interesting about her, I found out recently that her surnames are, they're English Norman surnames. Her parents, her mother and father. And of course, you know, the Normans were the Vikings that settled Normandy in the 900s. And then later on, in 1066, of course, there was the Norman invasion of England. Now, this is a picture of my younger brother. This is my great-grandfather, Scott, my mother's paternal grandfather. He had red hair when he was younger. This was when we were kids. This picture here was taken I'm sure it was just a few years before he passed away. He is a very strong man. I mean, look at this man's fist and forearms. This man had forearms like a fence post. He didn't even have, look at my little girly wrist. Look at his manly forearms. He was a very strong man. He had a farm, and he worked on his farm up until he was in his late 70s. He passed away when he was 81. I was 9 years old, but he was a very strong, I mean, look at that. I was just looking at his fist, and he had huge hands, and strong man. I would never have wanted to make him angry. And this is a picture of his father, actually. His name was Lafayette Brown. He was a rancher out west, and he was from northwestern North Carolina, northeastern Tennessee, where we live. But anyway, sorry about the family pictures. But I wanted to illustrate that our phenotype is indeed Nordic. Now, am I purely Nordic? No, of course I have no illusions thinking that I'm some pure Nordic person. I'm sure that I have some Celtic admixture in my family tree as well. As I mentioned, my great-grandfather Scott there, he had red hair when he was younger. And I believe that red hair and green eyes is pretty much it's a Celtic trait. I also assumed that there were Celtic people with blonde hair and brown hair too. But anyways, I just figured I would make this video because I've had a couple of people ask me online, either on live chats or some of my videos. Actually, a guy named Snaggletooth, or it may be a lady, I'm not sure. But he asked me in one of my videos if I was indeed Nordic, and I'm like, no, I'm American, but the reason I chose the name Nordic is because it is my family's phenotype, and my ancestors came from Denmark and Norway and England. So, just figured I'd clarify that. Sorry for all the family pictures and such, but I was trying to make a point, I guess. So I would like to thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.